It's super to have you here, and we're certainly delighted to be able to officially tell you a little bit about it in a couple of minutes. But let me introduce some special guests this afternoon. Dr. Blaine, Don Park out here. Don, Vice President for University Advancement. Two very special people who have been working awfully. Okay, Lynn? Lynn and Briar and Matt Norrod. Is Matt not here? Okay. Matt's an assistant hall. And Mayor Dan Cannon. Mayor Cannon, thank you very much for being here. I was in charge of the weather, so that turned out pretty well. I'm also would like to share with you just a few thoughts about Studebaker West beginning and where we are today. The construction and renovation of Studebaker West has included many firsts for Ball State. When it was constructed, Studebaker was the university's first high-rise residence hall, which included 9 stories. The building included the 4 residence halls within the complex and was under construction for 24 months at a total cost of $5.04 million. I wish we could do it for $5 million again today. Studebaker West was the first residence hall at Ball State to feature elevators, which students and families must have appreciated during move-in, although, as many of us know, they didn't go to every floor. They went to the lounge areas, and you could carry your stuff up or down at your choosing. The 2 elevators were originally located on the north side of the building, took students to Painter and Whitcraft at the 4th floor lounge, and then there were 2 others at the south side, went to Davidson and Palmer halls, the 7th floor lounges. The elevators, thankfully, during the recent renovation, go to every floor, and I can attest to the fact that they are extremely fast. As we were helping some folks move in last Thursday, I was astounded at how fast the elevators went up and down. Today's design still makes the directors, as I said, very accessible, and we know that they keep very, very busy. Another feature of the Studebaker West complex was co-ed dining. I can attest to my days at Michigan State in the 60s that co-ed dining was much preferable to having all the men eat together alone. And I suspect it was positive here as well. But Neuer was the first one to have co-ed dining, and Studebaker was the second. The dining rooms were located on the 1st floor in each wing, with the kitchens and serving lines in the central portion of the building. There was also a snack bar called the Dugout. It served had a grill and soda fountain, and was open for all students, Ball State faculty and staff as well. You'll enjoy the micro cafe just inside the front door, and the students today have a wide range of choices. We're about the business of helping students learn and grow and develop and change as people. But what they need to do that not only is a great faculty, which we have, but also accommodations such as Studebaker that create the kind of environment that will help them be successful. And we know that this building is going to do that for our students. So let's have a nice round of applause for everybody who's been involved with this project.
No problem. I've been called many things, so that'll go with that. I would love to thank you all for inviting me today and joining in your celebration. This is wonderful. My journey to Ball State began in the winter of 1966. I was probably not your typical Ball State student. I had what was called a deferred admittance, which means I was less than glamorous high school grades and less than glamorous SAT scores, which my counselors rather shuddered at. But Ball State admitted me, helped me with the dorm life, and invested the time and energy in me with its outreach programs. This helped pave my road to the success and graduation. No, I didn't know David Letterman. I wish I had, but I didn't. But he and I were close here. Ball State's support allowed me to achieve my goal to become an elementary teacher, a successful career that I have enjoyed for the last 29 years. Thank you to Ball State. I appreciate that very much. My freshman and sophomore years were spent at Baker Hall, My junior and senior years were in Davidson Hall. My 5th year, yes, it took me 5 too, just as it does many of you guys. I was in married housing in Scheidler Apartments. I might add, my husband of 30 years is also a graduate of Ball State and was a product of the Williams Hall for 4 years. I have spent also a couple of summers in the La Follette complex as I worked on my master's degree. We brought our clothes, our special memories from high school, just as you do. Our stereos were a necessity, and if we were really lucky, we got that old black and white TV. Remember, there were no cable in the dorms, so we could.
My job is really to talk to you a little bit about Mark Studebaker and some of those people whose names are associated with this building. But I also want to add my thanks and congratulations to everyone that had anything to do with this renovation and also this particular ceremony. Ball State always wants to do things right, and this was done right. On Tuesday, I was having lunch in South Bend with some members of the General Assembly at the grand old mansion of Colonel George Studebaker. It's a great building, and when you're in South Bend, there's a restaurant in it now, and whether you eat there or not, I hope you go by and visit. It's a wonderful structure. Now, that's a complete aside because that Studebaker family has nothing whatsoever to do with this building or with Mark Studebaker. I think it's most appropriate that the names associated with Studebaker West are all of individuals who served on the faculty or were other valued employees of Ball State University. Mark Studebaker, for whom Studebaker West, of course, is named, was greatly interested in meeting new people. He enjoyed teaching young people. He received his high school diploma from Muncie High School in 1906. He completed an A.B. degree in 1910 at Manchester College, received his B.S. degree from the University of Pittsburgh in 1917. He received an M.A. from Ohio State in 1929 and an honorary Doctor of Laws degree from Manchester College in 1938. Commerce Journal. In 1946, he created the Alma W. Studebaker Memorial Lectureship in Business Education in honor of his wife, who had died earlier that year. He spent much of his free time on his farm north of Muncie. Caring for livestock, cleaning fence rows, and similar jobs were enjoyable tasks for him after a day in the classroom. He was department chair until his retirement in 1954. I think it's especially appropriate and meaningful that folks who did so much for this university, especially in its early and formative years, have their names permanently associated with this residence hall. And I know that they would be perhaps even more pleased than we are, since their name is on it, at the refurbishment and the renovation that is apparent before us today, and they would also be absolutely delighted with the students that occupy it. And at this time, we want to unveil a plaque. Correct?
Yes.
I think this is the award we were talking about. And this was just received, and we're going to unveil it now. You can come up here, invited to come up here and read it, but basically it says, in honor of Mark E. Studebaker, 1888-1957.
Thank you for today, too. And Betty, you were on the staff?
I was the director of Studebaker East.
Director of Studebaker East. Please recognize Betty for us. And a cup. We are now going in where it's air conditioned. We'll have refreshments in the conference room, which is in and to your right, and we'll have tours conducted. How are we doing that? Are we sending people?
There's a location over in the lounge that says tours begin here.
Tours begin.
Great students are going to take people around.
Over here. Okay, good. So, thanks for coming. It's been great to have you here, and let's celebrate the opening of Studebaker West. Thanks.